Chapter 1, the cabin was packed, and passengers were settling in. For the Winston family, this was intended to kick off a dream vacation, a much-needed break from routine, a time to bond, breathe, and simply enjoy being together. Savannah Winston carefully adjusted her daughter's seatbelt, her movements gentle and practiced, the kind of ease that comes from a woman experienced with travel. Beside her, her husband Malcolm leafed through the in-flight magazine with a half-hearted interest, while across the aisle, their 10-year-old son Jordan watched the ground crew move luggage with a boyish curiosity. It was a calm moment, the kind that comes right before takeoff, but that peace didn't last. A shadow materialized over them. A flight attendant stood in the aisle, her arms tightly folded across her pressed Navy uniform. Her name tag read Nancy Harper, yet the lack of warmth in her expression conveyed far more than her badge ever could. "Tickets," she said flatly. Savannah blinked, startled. "I'm sorry, may I see your boarding passes?" Nancy's voice was clipped and impatient. Though Savannah hesitated, having already checked them, she reached into her purse and handed over the printed tickets with a polite smile. Nancy examined them, her eyes narrowing. "These seats are in premium economy," she stated, then motioned toward the row. "This section is for premium passengers." Malcolm's brows furrowed. "Yes," he replied, "we booked premium economy." "I'm going to need you to move to the back," Nancy said curtly, thrusting the tickets back without another word. Jordan sat up straighter. "But why?" Savannah's stomach twisted. "Is there a problem with our reservation?" Nancy leaned in slightly, her voice low and cold. "I'm not sure how you got these, but these seats are for premium customers." Malcolm's voice hardened. "We are premium customers." Whispers began to ripple nearby, people looked, though no one spoke. Savannah remained composed. "Can you please verify with the gate agent?" "We were confirmed at boarding." Nancy's demeanor cracked. "Move or I'll call security." Gasps filled the air, silence enveloped them. Savannah realized this wasn't merely about seats, it was something else, something unspoken. Her hands trembled as she gathered their belongings. Malcolm's jaw clenched, he remained silent, yet his entire body radiated quiet fury. Jordan clutched his backpack tightly, staring at Nancy as they walked the shame-filled aisle under the watchful, silent eyes of 100 strangers. But unknown to all, someone had been observing closely, and he was no ordinary passenger. Chapter 2, The Call from 1A in First Class. A man dressed in a tailored navy suit placed his phone down and narrowed his gaze. Julian Roth, the regional director for Skyfly Airlines, wasn't simply flying, he was evaluating, and what he had just witnessed could not be ignored. Julian pressed a button on his phone. "We have a situation on Flight 476, he stated. "Handle it immediately." Meanwhile, in the cramped last row near the restrooms, Savannah sat with her daughter curled up beside her, her heart racing as she tried to remain calm for the kids. Malcolm stood with his arms crossed. "This isn't right," he muttered. Savannah nodded in agreement. A younger flight attendant, Emily Graves, had witnessed the entire incident. New to the job, she didn't share Nancy's hardened demeanor, and something about the exchange felt wrong to her. "Do they have the wrong seats?" she asked tentatively. Nancy didn't even glance up. "They don't belong there," she replied. Emily frowned. The family hadn't caused any trouble, the father had stayed calm and the kids had been quiet. It didn't make sense. Back in first class, Julian Roth had already received confirmation that the family's seats were valid, they had booked premium economy and had been wrongly removed. His next message was brief, "Handling it now. Expect an update." As for Nancy Harper, she remained unaware of the storm that was about to unfold. Chapter 3, The Cockpit Reckoning. Nancy strolled through first class as if nothing had transpired, serving coffee and smiling at passengers, just another component of the routine. But that illusion shattered when the cockpit phone buzzed. "This is Harper," she answered. The voice on the other end was calm but firm. "Ms. Harper, report to the cockpit immediately." Her pulse quickened. Inside the cockpit, she was met by Captain Raymond Beck and First Officer Liam Chun, both stoic. What caught her attention was the small screen displaying a live video call on the other end. Ethan Granger, the Vice President of Operations. Nancy froze. "Ms. Harper," Ethan began, his voice low, "we need to discuss what occurred in your cabin." She straightened. "Of course, there was a mistake with the seating. Did you verify it before removing the passengers?" Nancy hesitated. "I reviewed the tickets, they didn't look right." Captain Beck interjected, "I pulled up the manifest. Their tickets were valid, they had every right to those seats." Silence fell. "You humiliated a family in front of a full cabin," Ethan remarked without checking the facts. Nancy's breath caught. "I was following standard procedure." "No," Ethan replied firmly, "you weren't." Then came the final blow. "Do you know who was sitting in 1A? Nancy blinked. "No, Julian Roth," Ethan stated. "He saw everything," he continued, "and because of that, your actions have resulted in a PR crisis mid-flight." Nancy's voice cracked. I didn't mean to." Ethan cut her off, effective immediately. "You are relieved of duty for the remainder of this flight." Her world crumbled, and the worst part was that she had no one to hold accountable but herself. Chapter 4, Public Apology. When Nancy re-entered the cabin, the atmosphere had noticeably shifted. The other attendants avoided her gaze, passengers stared, but the final blow did not come from management, it was from the family she had humiliated. From the back of the plane, Malcolm Winston's voice rose calmly. "That apology should be given to us, not just the passengers." Gasps rippled through the cabin. Savannah placed a hand on his arm, but she didn't stop him, she agreed. Nancy froze. "You had no problem humiliating us in front of everyone," Malcolm pressed on, "so you shouldn't have any issue apologizing in front of everyone too." The silence was palpable, passengers' eyes locked onto her. Nancy's voice trembled. I apologize for the inconvenience." "That's not enough." "You didn't inconvenience us," Savannah replied coldly. "You humiliated us. You assumed we didn't belong." Malcolm added, maintaining his gaze on her. Nancy's shoulders sagged. "I was wrong," she attempted again, her voice cracking with genuine emotion. "I judged without verifying. I humiliated your family, and I am truly sorry." The cabin fell silent. Malcolm nodded once, and for the very first time in her life, Nancy Harper offered a heartfelt apology. Chapter 5, Grounded. As the plane landed, Nancy sat alone in the jump seat, her mind racing. The announcement came through, "Miss Harper will be escorted from the aircraft. She is no longer with Skyfly Airlines." Gasps echoed throughout the cabin, and phones began recording as news spread quickly. As she walked down the aisle, passengers stared, no one averted their gaze this time. Justice was being enacted before their eyes. She passed the Winston family. Jordan looked at her, not with hatred, but with disappointment. The impact was far deeper than any punishment could convey. Outside, upon reaching the terminal, the fallout began, live tweets, video clips, news headlines flashing across airport screens. Flight attendant fired mid-flight after forcing black family to move without cause. Skyfly responds to viral discrimination incident on Flight 476. Her name, her career, all lost. Chapter 6, Aftermath. Weeks passed, and Nancy struggled to find work. No airline would hire her. Her name was marred, and every application concluded the same, "We've gone in a different direction." She sat in her apartment, scrolling through footage of that day, viewing herself through the lens of strangers' phones, a woman who had judged without reason, who had declared without evidence that a family didn't belong. Worst of all, she had believed herself to be right. There was no escape from it, she couldn't undo what had transpired. The Winstons had left that plane with their dignity intact, while she had walked away with nothing.